Hello and welcome back to Side by Side with D. I cannot even begin to tell you how excited and nervous and excited and nervous I am to make this video. You've already seen the title. We are going to be pickling stuff. For the longest, now I've pickled things before, but I've never pickled anything to make it shelf stable. And I'm like freaking out. Okay. I had some leftover jalapenos because I had needed one to make a Peruvian green sauce. And then I was like, well, what am I gonna do with all these jalapenos? And I thought, a couple of different things. Maybe I'll make like jalapeno poppers or whatever. And I was like, I've recently discovered this year that I love pickled jalapeno. And I'm like, what if I just make my own? And I've been needing to make some pickled red onions. Now, like I said, I've pickled things before. Typically, or in the past, I've only pickled red onions and I would just put it in the fridge. And that was it. So I'm like, I don't have the capacity in the fridge to make jalapeno and pickled red onion, and now I'm like, oh, I want to make like regular dill pickles, and so I'm like, I'm gonna have to make it shelf stable, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I'm super scared I'm gonna kill myself, or no, maybe I shouldn't say that word. I'm super scared that I'm going to harm someone to the point of no return, and but so many people do it, and it's really not that hard. It's just if you're going to do something shelf stable, just follow the recipe to the T, a recipe that is meant for canning, so you don't, end someone's life, or at the very least make them sick. So, or waste your time, because even as fun as this is about to be, it is probably going to take a little bit of time. So we don't want all of these veggies going to waste, and we also don't want to waste our time. So, couple of things. We are going to be going off of a recipe today, which is honestly something that I really intended for this channel anyway, because we were supposed to, be trying new things and stuff like that. So it's good that we're kind of getting back to those basics. But I forgot what I was saying. I'm so goddamn excited. So anyways, we are going to be making pickles, jalapenos, and onions. We're going to be doing different flavors. So we are going to be water bath canning. I don't have like an electric one. I've seen people use some, and they seem great, and eventually I do want to get one. But they're like $300, so it's just not going to be anytime soon. So I'm like, you know what? I have this huge stock pot that I got like 2 years ago at Walmart for like $14. I'm kind of scared because I'm like, it's a little thin. Can it do the job? Is it going to break all the glasses when I put them in there if it's too thin? But I'm like, don't psych yourself out. Let's just see. So we're going to be pickling stuff, and I'm going to go over the different flavors. I think that I mentioned it in the video that I did right before this one, like an hour ago. I was just doing like a quick grocery haul for the month of May. But I want to mention it in here since we're actually going to be doing the pickling in this video. Also, we're going to be making different flavored jams, which is super exciting. So it'll be nice to have these things on the shelf. One, this entire pack of jalapeno cost me $2.29. The onions cost me $4. And what else is with that pickling? Cucumbers were like $4. But I have enough jars that it is going to make a good amount. And so I can have it literally most likely like for the rest of the year, which is so exciting to think about. It almost makes me want to like start canning meat, but like slow roll. Other order of business. In my dishwasher, I have all of the jars. So I went out and all the lids fell to the bottom. Okay, well, I'm gonna grab those. So like I was saying when I was down there, I think I got kind of cut out in the video. If you don't have a dishwasher, you can, it says to wash the jars, the lids, and the rings in soapy hot water. And then you're going to sterilize the jars by boiling them in water for 10 minutes. and then you're gonna simmer, not boil, the lids for 5 minutes. And you're gonna keep them hot until they're ready to fill, which is why I'm leaving them in the dishwasher, because I use the heat it dry, so it's very hot in there. We're gonna keep them hot, and we are going to start prepping our, what should we do first? You know what? Let's make the brine, and then we'll start prepping our jars. Because we're gonna be doing different flavors, I wanna make sure that I kind of get a little bit organized mentally. And then we wanna keep these as hot as possible. So we wanna be able to have the brine already ready. So once we slice up our veggies, we can start stuffing them with hot jars instead of kind of leaving them sitting and then waiting for the brine. So we're gonna make a basic pickling brine because we're just gonna put the spices and different flavors in each jar. So for the brine, you're gonna need 2 cups of white vinegar. This is gonna make 4 cups. So you're gonna use 2 cups of white vinegar. Now the vinegar has to have a 5% acidity for it to be used for like shelf stable. So if you're gonna put it in the pantry like I'm doing, you're gonna do the water canning, the vinegar has to. And honestly, I never really paid attention before when I bought vinegar, like what percent of acidity it has, but like the standard, like this one that I get from Costco, it says 5% acidity. I didn't even check, but I think like the basic vinegars that you can buy at the grocery store do come at 5%, but just double check just to make sure, because you don't want to do all this for nothing. So you're gonna need 2 cups of that vinegar. You're gonna need 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and then we are going to just use that as a base. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this is not one of those projects where you kind of want to wing it or start improvising, especially when it comes to the amount of salt they're saying, the amount of vinegar that they're using. So make sure, like if you got just under vinegar, you feel like you put, I'm not even gonna lie to you and say it's gonna be okay, because I don't know. This is our first time doing it together. But I would not recommend, if you don't have the exact ingredients, to still go ahead and shelve it. You can put it in the fridge. It'll be fine in the fridge, I think. Double check that. But I think it'll be fine in the fridge. But do not water can it and put it on the shelf and open it up 6 months from now if you were not absolutely certain you have the exact measurements. And that's why this video is a little bit more, like I said, like going off of the ingredients and kind of just double checking, because we want to make sure that, you know, we're doing this in a safe way. Now I'm looking at it, and I don't know if this is enough liquid for the 3 different types of veggies that I plan on doing. So I'm gonna double the recipe. I'm gonna double it, so I'm gonna put 4 cups of vinegar and 4 cups of water. I'd rather have leftover brine that I have to dump than not have enough and then have to wait for more to be made up. And then I'm gonna add 2 more cups of water. So if you're doing the original recipe, it says to use 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. So if you only did the 2 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar, you're gonna do 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. So think of it like 2, 2, 2. But because we're doubling, everything is gonna be in 4s. So we're gonna have 4 tablespoons of kosher salt. And we're gonna boil this just until the sugar dissolves and everything's incorporated. So we're gonna let this go for a little bit and we're gonna get started on our veggies. I am going to be checking, triple checking, quadruple checking. Nice and slow. Steady makes less mistakes. So the next step is to slice our veggies. I have a mandolin. I got one the other day because I have made scalloped potatoes. And at first I was going to cut them and I was just like, eventually I'm going to need the mandolin, so let's do it. And that's what I'm going to use. You don't have a mandolin, you can just slice your veggies with a knife. But I'm going to go ahead and get that out. And we are going to start with our cucumbers. Now don't laugh at me, okay? I was at Costco. I got these. And it wasn't until I got in the car that I was like, why didn't I just get the little ones? I don't know, but we're going with it. A good tip that I just made up, but good to know about when a brine or anything like, let's say you're trying to make like a, what is it called? When you do sugar and water. Not a slurry. I can't think of the name. A syrup. When you're either trying to do like a brine or a syrup and you're unsure if it's ready, if you saw when we first put that salt in, it was very cloudy. It should go back to looking like pure water. You should be able to see through it and not see any salt, sugar, any remnants at the bottom. That is how you know like it's fully incorporated and your brine's ready. So it's cleared up, but there's still some small pieces at the bottom. So we're just gonna keep letting that go. And we're gonna slice up our cucumbers. We're just gonna slice them into chips. I don't wanna do the spears. I prefer the chips. Now I'm only gonna do 2 of these cucumbers. I am gonna keep one because for my lunch this week for work, we're doing loaded hummus bowls. So basically it's gonna be hummus, cucumber, grape tomatoes, pickled red onion, feta, steak, and I'm gonna use like pita crackers to kind of scoop it all up. So we need one of these. The good thing about making your own pickles is that you can determine the thin, thickness, size that you want. So the mandolin has 3 different settings for thickness. We're gonna start at the thickest one, just to see what it's looking like and see how we feel about it. I'm gonna get this ends out and let's take a look and see. These are gonna be the perfect size pickles. Let's see. What is it focusing on? Focus on this cucumber. These are gonna be the perfect size pickle. Look at that. Okay. We have our cucumber sliced. Next, we're gonna do our jalapenos and the red onions last because I'm gonna cry. keep it on that same thickness, and let's test it out and see. So this is the thickness of the jalapeno. Let me see it just a pinch smaller. Let's see. We did it a little skinnier. I'm having way too much fun with this. Ooh, these might be it. Yep. That might be a number 2. I want. Yep. Okay. And just like that, our jalapenos are ready. So, last but certainly not least, if you are an onion crier, I am right there with you, and I am also dreading it. Hopefully the mandolin makes this go a lot faster. Our onions are ready. We have 5 of them, which was a 2-pound bag. So we are gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it on the thinnest setting to see. But before I do that, I wanna check my paper really quickly. Okay, it says slice into thin rings or strips. It doesn't say that it'll break down if it's like a certain size or anything. So let's see how we like it. Yes, these are perfect. These are super thin. Okay, we have our onions, our jalapenos, and our cucumbers. Now that we have our veggies all ready to go, we are gonna look at step 4. So step 4 says to pack hot jars with your prepped vegetables, and then you're gonna pour the brine over them, leaving ½ inch of headspace. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna bust out some measuring tape because I don't know what ½ inch is, and I wanna make sure that we're doing this correctly. So before we do that, we have to get our jars and get all of our seasonings in, and then pack our veggies in. So let's take a look. Let's start in the same order with our cucumbers. We're gonna be doing a regular classic dill pickle. We're gonna be doing a garlicky one, and then we are going to be doing the sweet pickle. So again, wanting to keep the jars as hot as possible. Let's get our garlic together. So for the sweet bread and butter, you need a tablespoon of sugar per jar and a pinch of turmeric. We're going to be using ½ teaspoon of our pickling spice. I just want to make sure that I get an allspice berry in each one. So this one's extra garlic. We're just gonna get these down in there. I might end up using more jars. Now it said to leave ½ inch headspace. So this is ½ inch. So to the rim. Okay, this may sound stupid, but is that how they determine where the rim goes so people can know that that's in ½ inch for the ball mason jars? Y'all let me know. Did y'all know that? These were salt and extra garlic. All right, and we have jarred pickles. I'm gonna do the same process with the other veggies. I will put in the description what flavors that I use, or I can tell you right now. It's the same exact process, except for one of the jalapenos, I'm gonna add a little bit of oregano. And they have a citrus honey one, so it says to add a tablespoon of honey and a slice of orange. Two things. One, I got a piece of paper, so I just put it on the top of the jars, like this one says bread and butter, just so I don't forget. Also, I forgot to add the pickling spice to this bread and butter one. I just realized, so we're gonna go ahead and do that really quickly. I think because when I was reading the recipe and it would say like add sugar, I'm just like, oh, just add sugar. But I think they're saying like if you're gonna add anything to make it different than the original pickling recipe, which calls for half a teaspoon, then you're gonna add sugar to the recipe, not just sugar and only sugar, if that makes sense. Okay, everybody's gonna get half a teaspoon of pickling spice, and then I'm just gonna add an allspice pod to each one. Okay, now we're gonna get our jalapenos in sweet orange. So I'm definitely gonna have to make that jam tomorrow because I'm gonna be all out of jars, which is a good thing because that means that my little bookshelf that I kept because I planned on having something like this, which is essentially like a little pantry shelf full of homemade goods, it'll have more stuff on it. So that's exciting. And also I only have one memory card, so I have to edit this video and delete this stuff before I can film something else. So it's fine, it'll work out. I'll just do it tomorrow or Sunday, but most likely tomorrow. Next and last are the onions. Now, we are running a little low on brine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna just add the 2 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. I'm also gonna go get my stock pot and fill it up and get it boiling. So get your water boiling. If you need to stop like me and make more brine, go ahead and do so. But once your water is boiled, once your brine is ready, let's come back and we'll do these onions. And we're back. So nothing has changed. I have not done anything other than my huge stock pot. That was $12 that I'm not gonna hold. I'm kind of scared because it's pretty thin. But I've made a few things in here before, so we'll see. And my brine is ready, so we're gonna get started on these onions. Okay. So these are gonna be our classics. This is gonna be our sweet, and these are gonna be the Italian style. We have some peppercorn, some thyme, and the pickling spice. Pickling spice, peppercorn, pickling spice, peppercorn. So for our sweet, we're gonna add that tablespoon of honey. And to make these Italian style, it says to add a bay leaf, rosemary, and dried oregano. So I don't have bay leaf, but you know what I do have? That low key. It has salt, Turkish oregano, garlic, lemon peel, black pepper, and marjoram. I think I'm gonna add this Greek seasoning. So they won't be Italian style because I don't have the bay leaf. And I feel like that's important. But I do have this. So we're gonna go with this. So they'll be Greek Mediterranean flavor. And everybody's getting some garlic. I'm gonna leave it out of the sweet one. I don't mind the pickling, but I don't know. I'm just experimenting. I don't know for sure. Okay. Now we're packing the onions. That was the perfect amount. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I'm like, how am I gonna differentiate these when I put them in? I don't know. We're gonna have to figure it out once I take them out. But let's go ahead and get these in. So, the genius that I am, I got all this stuff and I did not get any of those tongs, the water candy ones. But I do have these. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do like a double grab method, taking them in and out. What do you think? It's gonna slip. I'm gonna have to go with my hands. How reckless was that on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, I if I could just very just slowly. Okay. So one last time, let's read it. So it says for the 8-ounce jars, we're gonna boil it for 10 minutes. Now, these are 24 ounces, so let me see. It says 15 minutes. Okay. That water is boiling. Let's go over there and check it out. Okay. This is seriously boiling because the camera keeps turning off because it's so hot. So let's get our pickles in. We're gonna start to make it easier on myself with all the plain stuff. I hope this is a good enough grip. I'm so scared. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take some of the water out and then I'll top it off when everything's in. So I could put it in without my hand touching it and burning. Does that make sense? Yes. So we're gonna set a 10-minute timer for the little one, and then the bigger one will stay for an extra 5. So we'll come back in 10 minutes when it's time to take the littles out. Hopefully between now and then, it does not just combust in this pot. I'm so scared because I think I saw someone, still so good. Wrong way. There we go. On someone's channel a while ago, it wasn't for this project, it was just for educational purposes. I saw someone put like a towel down or like a towel in between the jars, and I think they did that so like they don't touch or clink. So now I'm wondering, like, is it too much heat or pressure from the bottom? I honestly don't even want to turn the camera off. Like, if something happens and the shit busts, I kind of want it to be on camera, so we won't turn it off. It's gonna be fine. We're fine. You're fine. You're okay. If you guys seen the new show on Hulu, Good American Family, and the dad's always like, "You're okay." I've been saying that all week. It's fine. It's fine. You know what I'll do is I'll add the honey to this batch, because I can differentiate it because it doesn't have any garlic in it. So this one has garlic, so I'm not gonna get it confused. So this one is gonna go here, and then it goes here. So that way it's also an even number. And we're at 6 minutes in. Let's set up towels. I'm gonna do it here because the pot's right here, and it'll be easier to transfer because getting it out is not gonna be as easy as getting it in. And it was not easy getting it in. gonna immediately set the timer for 5 minutes for the others. And let's see. Can I pick it up? Okay, so we survived, and look, we have our first 2 jars out. How cool is that? I don't know if we're supposed to get the water off the top of it. I'm just gonna dap it real quick. And we're gonna, once we get the bigger jars out, we're gonna put those other batches in, and I'll come back once everything is laid out. We didn't die, yay.
And they stated that while Cody's relationship at that point in time was getting better, they said that it's kind of regressed since they've left the state of Utah. But I do hope that, like, through his healing, his acknowledgement that he was in a bad place, he really hardcore works on having a better, stronger relationship with all of his kids. I think a lot of that will come from, like, he has to acknowledge and he has to validate. I said this, take it all down and build up stronger again, you know? So Cody in real time's relationships with his kids has not improved, and it's gotten almost worse since Garrison's passing. So on that note, Cody is apparently waving his red white flag and realizing that he has no case when it comes to his daughter Truly, because yesterday in Utah court, Cody Brown and Christine entered into a settlement agreement for.
So I ordered some tongs for tomorrow's video for the jams. But what I've been doing is I've been taking the longer tong, gripping the front, and then going around the sides. Like this, and across. Those are pickles. What did we do? Grape. We did the onions or grape. Orange honey. I see the orange right there. The bread and butter pickles, and then sugar and the jalapenos for sweet. Let them rest for 12 to 24 hours, which is cool because by the time we come back tomorrow, we'll be able to shake these up and get these on the shelf and get our jam down, and then we'll have like an actual pantry. So that's so exciting. I cleaned up a little bit. I swept. I cleaned the counters. I do just have these dishes here. I don't think I'm gonna run the dishwasher tonight because I'm not gonna cook. I made TikTok spaghetti yesterday, which is basically half Alfredo, half meat sauce, and we're just gonna reheat that with some cheesy garlic bread and some salad. Oh, and I'm gonna fry some fish because I'm black. We eat fried fish with spaghetti. So get these dishes done, get dinner going, and then that's it. I'm just gonna chill, finish the new season of You, and then we'll be back tomorrow for the jams.